Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 280 for the week of October 4th, 2016. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who is here with me this week?
Brock Sigger.
No, I will not make out with you, Charlie.
Whoa. Hey now.
Well, you know it is the whole cable fan connection.
Bryce.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Now, Bryce,
This table's awkward
I
now.
have to ask you, did you listen to last week's podcast?
Yeah, you missed out.
No, I said that I would, and I have not yet listened to it.
Oh, that's why
But
you're normal.
So you did
I
not...
did hear that there was some cable hate, but I will get to it. I'm listening. I have my Audible.com account, and
Okay.
I'm listening to the Gray Man series, where this guy is a badass, and he goes and kills everybody that's bad.
Is it like a...
He's sort of like,
Like a
Superman
serial-
and Man of Steel.
No, Jesus Christ. Well, let me. Since you missed out on a great question from last week, so let's give you the table here. Let's open it up.
Open me up, baby.
We'll give you a couple minutes.
So are we recording the podcast or doing a Bryce Briefing
No,
right now?
we're recording the podcast. This is a question for Bryce Larsen on Twitter. We got a lot of new stuff to talk about.
How did they not tag me on Twitter?
But
then?
I figured they
checked
did.
Twitter.
They did. But I figured this is a good way to.
Did I?
This is Killing Them Softly on Twitter. Says, since you missed last week, can you name something that you hate about everyone at the table's favorite character?
It's so easy. Yes, I can do that.
So we got to do this last week.
Okay,
This is the
okay.
end of last week's episode.
Okay, that's a great question. That's what I missed out on. And is that why Cable got so much hate? So I heard that Cable got a bunch of hate. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we did it for the person to our right. So Brock made fun of Speedball, I made fun of Cable, Charlie made fun of Gambit, and Toby made fun of Geoforce as we go around the table here.
Okay.
But you can let us all have it.
Let me try to be brief. Okay, so let's see here. Geoforce.
No, you can do whatever character you want. It doesn't. You can do whatever character.
Oh, I thought I had to make fun of each of yours.
No. You can do whatever character you think is our favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, it
No.
It doesn't have to
We
be.
just decided what we decided was somebody's favorite.
Okay, so I guess I was going to say Geoforce because I thought that was actually Brock's favorite. But let me make fun instead of your close second favorite, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is a fucking loser whose rise in popularity is owed solely to Deadpool's rise in popularity. And the fact that your precious Suicide Squad movie was not re-upped for a sequel, but she has gotten a sequel, is sort of indicative of how much mainstream media is just clinging on to this hope of, I don't know, that's a tough sell, Bryce, because Margot Robbie actually did a great job. But the movie was terrible. Anyway, so she's actually useless in a superhero capacity. She's as annoying as Deadpool is currently, and she only sells books based on the same type of audience that Deadpool does. Mr. Higgins, your let's see here. Is there a superhero called Backdoor Boy? No, there's. I'm just playing. No, who do they? Oh, they made fun of Speedball. I can't make fun of Nova. Who else do you like? Oh, God, Squirrel Girl has the worst art I have ever seen in a comic ever. I don't even know how to make fun of her because she's actually not that bad. But that art is so bad that's what I would have to say makes that like just the worst comic in the history of Marvel Comics.
I thought you'd go for Quentin Quire.
No, because that's like adorable Ryan Higgins. That's like you love him like in spite of yourself. Like you're just like, oh, Grant Morrison's great. This is a fucking hipster goth kid. Like I must love him. Yeah, I don't know. Squirrel Girl, the art is just terrible. I have nothing else to add. Charlie, that fucking Cable guy is the worst.
It's not Cable, it's Charlie that's the worst.
No. Who else does Charlie love? Charlie loves... Okay, you know who you love that is fucking the worst, Charlie, is Jim Zub. Jim Zub.
The comic book character Jim Zub.
Yeah, Jim Zub is this, like, very, like, good / decent writer that, you know, does a decent job with everything that he's attached to, but you are tugging on his dick like he's the second coming
unless it's
of
called
Deadpool.
Thunderbolts. Unless it's called Thunderbolts.
I actually I don't know if I've ever heard Charlie's opinion on Thunderbolts. I assume, spoiler alert, Charlie loved it because Charlie fucking loves everything. But anyway, Jim's up, man. You love Jim. This is turning more into a roast of you guys than your.
That's what it was.
Okay. So anyway, Jim's up. Totally average / good, but you're hailing him like the second coming of Hyperion or something like that. It's crazy. Okay, Toby loves fucking as much as he loves Gambit, loves Dick. Toby's favorite character is Nightwing, and like, look, I get the Nightwing love because Batman is the best, but Nightwing is like, who can be the first loser in the race to be Batman? It would be the second place Batman, which has always been Dick Grayson. So Nightwing spends the 90s not hooking up with I guess any one chick, rather hooking up with the entire DC universe and not exacerbating the misogyny, I guess, ideals of 90s comics. I love Gambit, so I can't really say that that's too different, but I also love Batman, but I'm trying to reach because Toby, it's tough to hate anything about Toby. Anyway, so Toby liking Dick was my sort of punchline there. Yeah, for myself, it's only fair that I roast myself. Jesus, there's so many things to make fun of myself about. Like, I don't even know where to start. So, I am a pretty douchey metrosexual dude. I also love Gambit, and I like old Deadpool. And I'm looking at the wall here. Who else do I like? You would think that I would love the Totally Awesome Hulk because of his faux hawk, but I don't. Oh God, Gwenpool is the worst. Yeah, I don't know. There's too much stuff to make fun of me about.
I think we can just sum that up as Marvel.
I love all the 90s, like to an embarrassing fault. Let's see here. Hey, do you guys want to know an interesting story? This is like a little childhood Bryce revealed. This is sort of like an inside baseball for Bryce. This should actually go on a Bryce briefly, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but I will because I already started it. But in the 90s, Jim Lee was drawing Mr. Sinister, and Mr. Sinister had Jim Lee drew him with muscles on his ribs. And I remember thinking when I was whatever it was, 13 or 14 years old, I was like, that is such 90s ridiculous, over-muscled art. You can't get those three muscles on each side of the ribs, that Mr. Sinister, that I remember it was Mr. Sinister, even though I assumed that he drew all of them like that. I was like, there was no way. But I did push-ups every day for fucking, I don't know, a month or more. And I got those muscles. They started showing up. And, of course, it wouldn't have happened if I was any younger because I hadn't hit puberty yet. But, the voice starts cracking, the armpit hairs start growing one at a time. And you're doing push-ups every day, and you start getting those Mr. Sinister muscles. So that was an inspiration for me to exercise more was Mr. Sinister. So that's something to make fun of me about.
We won't go further into that. It's a weird one.
What else? I don't know.
We'll think of some stuff for you. We'll have a comeback for you later. How about that?
You don't need it. I mean, there's a lot. You don't need to dig too deep to make fun of me.
You feel like a 2099 fan to me.
No, my problem with 2099, I'm a big fan of connected universes, and I always felt that the 2099 universe was just so lacking in cohesion. I mean, it seemed like, there was the 4 titles, and they did touch themselves to a certain extent with the Follow the Hammer crossover. And I don't remember if there was a second one, maybe World War or something or other. I don't remember. But anyway, even that was pretty tenuous. And there was only the 4 titles. And then when half of them were terminated, they had the 2099 Unlimited with the Hulk. That was great, except that it also didn't touch the other 4 books. And so it was as hard as they were trying
you just seem to like things touching.
Well, who doesn't, Brock?
Just check.
So anyway, so 2099, I mean, I guess fair in that it's 90s and kind of douchey, but I actually wasn't really. I wanted to, I have the whole run, and I bound it, in fact, of the X-Men 2099, but that was it was basically like a Wildstorm Image, wannabe, popular main run team book. I know we're going to get to it. I'm really excited. But
speaking of Toby's favorite characters,
Well, before you go
that we
there,
can
I
make
want
fun
to
of.
bring back Backdoor Boy. Couldn't that be a Legion character? Come on, that totally sounds like a Legion character.
Arm fall off boy. Real character. We got a question about Legion too. I'll get to that in a bit.
anyway, so yeah, I'm done. That was relatively brief.
But speaking of Toby's favorite characters that we can all make fun of now. Back in the 90s, as you just said, popular brand was called Wildstorm.
Yeah.
Jim Lee's company came out of Image, sold it to DC. DC then did...
I thought that actually happened in 2000. Was that?
Well, it was in 2000s. It's like 2000 maybe itself is when he sold it.
So 90s characters.
Yeah.
So it was all part of Image, and then he put his arms around it and called it Wildstorm.
Yeah, Wildcats, Stormwatch. Wildstorm was the studio that he made. So Wildcats, Stormwatch.
So he put his arms around a segment of the Image quote unquote universe.
They all own their own characters.
Mark Sylvester had Top Cow. Larson had Image Central
And Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
So did Savage Dragon ever team up with Wildcats? Did they ever do that?
I mean, back in the day, but the characters are free to come and go as they please. So
there wasn't really a universe. It was just, if they show up in each other's books, then that's how it is.
well, they had to get the approval of the other creators to show up. Like
right. But
Rob Liefeld took his stuff and created awesome entertainment. Left Image. He took Youngblood and all his related characters away from Image as well. A long time ago now, 10 years, 15 years maybe.
Okay, so
At least, yeah.
So they
He
all
made his
did
fake
this.
Avengers for a while too.
Yeah.
So they all did this, and including Jim Lee, who put his arms around his characters.
Yeah, and he sold it to DC for millions. And then DC...
Well, they really were buying him.
yeah, sure.
And the talent.
exactly.
And the talent.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they were buying the product.
Because
I'm sorry.
Wildstorm also was
As much as I love it.
They had a ton of artists in house. They had a whole studio set up. So DC continued with Wildcats. With Authority and Planetary.
Right. I remember
The
that.
Stormwatch spin-off stuff. So Wildstorm comes and goes, kind of flounders around for a few years. DC tried to bring it back a few times. Nothing really clicked. They dumped him into the DC universe as part of New 52. Definitely didn't click.
Man, they were pushing Grifter hard, though.
They were pushing Grifter hard. The Midnighter series that came out as part of DCU, the one from last year, was real good. It didn't sell great, but they have a new miniseries that just came out.
Orlando.
Yeah, Steve Orlando. But we have a brand new Wildstorm comics line, once again, helmed by Warren Ellis, man who kind of redid Wildstorm the first time with Stormwatch, Planetary, and Authority.
So you would say run by as opposed to curated by?
It's going to be a number of books.
Possibly.
There is going to be a book called The Wild Storm, written by Warren Ellis. Probably a six-issue miniseries that'll kind of set up whatever they're doing. I don't believe it's clear. It says monthly, but we'll see. I don't believe it's going to be in the DC universe. I really think these guys are going to be off in their own world. Maybe similar to what Doom Patrol and Shade the Changing Man or Shade the Changing Girl.
Stuff?
How it's right. I mean, it could just be an imprint of DC and it's still in the DC universe, but I don't think we know. I don't think and nothing I read has said anything for sure. So we have that. We have Deathblow, Wildcats, and Zealot. So at least 4 books coming out of the gate.
That's first of all, okay, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. But I mean, that's pretty aggressive for
and that's
books that have not been carrying themselves.
Young Animal had 4. The Hanna-Barbera stuff had 4. So if Wildstorm has 4, I think that's pretty solid. They need to do what these other books have done. They need to get top-tier creators. They need to ship on time. 100% on-time ship rate. Nothing can be late. Wildstorm has been notorious for late books, from all the way back to the old stuff, to the Grant Morrison, Jim Lee Wildcats relaunch that had a 1 issue, to Planetary and Authority being horribly late, but Planetary being late on another level. I mean, years between issues. So, and the kind of flop of the last relaunch, the flop of the New 52 integration. So they have to have the best creators, a long-term plan. They have to make them fully returnable. They have to have really, really good covers. They have to have all their old school artists back as part of it. Like Jim Lee needs to do 4 interlocking covers as the base covers for these books to launch.
That'd
right?
be
But
so
they
cool.
have to, right? I mean, because this is like the 7th time we've gone through this shit with Wild. The original stuff,
Yeah.
The switch to DC,
Yeah.
The relaunch after that, they had that was it World's End or World's?
Yeah, the Captain
World's-
Atom. Well, no.
Yeah,
That one
the
I don't
stuff,
know.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right around that same time. Then the launch into New 52, and then the DCU relaunch with I mean, I would count that with Midnighter and bringing him into Grayson and everything. I mean, it's a new take. I mean, this is the 6th or 7th time. I don't like, and it's been a while since they've clicked. So this is good news if it works. I'm really hopeful.
So cool.
Toby, I mean, these are your boys. What are you thinking?
Well, we'll see if they're actually my boys. We'll see if they're back, right? So, I mean,
You're there for the art.
yeah, I mean, Wildstorm used to run this art blog that was just fantastic. It was called Gel Alamedi. And it was just fantastic. I mean, they would have games on there. They were like little Iron Chef, draw-offs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was just like, as an art fan, it was just a fantastic time. It was guys in the studios that were challenging each other to be better and to do better things. Minus the Warren Ellis stuff, the stories, they haven't been the most memorable. I'm going to just be honest. And the art was always fantastic. So I love those artists, and they're great guys. I always talk to them. So I really hope this comes through with those guys back in place, and maybe they can not write, but co-plot some of this, because they're more passionate about the characters. I think truly that's why some of these books didn't last, because maybe some of these writers didn't care as much as the artists did.
The last time they launched them as part of Wildstorm itself, proper. I mean, you had Gail Simone, you had Tom Taylor, you had I think Keith Giffen did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, competent writers, but it just didn't. No, the fans of those writers didn't care about the characters they were reading. The fans of the characters in Wildstorm didn't care about the creators.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just
there
was nothing clicked.
So I hope for the best for this, and I'm really excited. But like I said, I hope it's my guys, the guys I've been following. Carlos Danda, Richard Friend. I'm trying to do this on top of my head here, but there's a whole bunch of them that I really enjoy. JJ Kirby. And then Ali Garza, I don't even know what Ali Garza is doing these days
have
anymore,
nothing,
right?
I have
So
no clue.
and there's Mike Lopez, like I don't even know he's been doing for the last 5-10 years, and he's phenomenal, right? So there's really talented Gnome, the guy that picked up through that contest, really talented guys.
Now I wonder if they can get.
They've all been working on the video games, by the way.
Right,
that's
right,
kind of
right.
where they've been put. Yeah,
DC Entertainment, right?
yeah, and they also work on that that 2-issue move when they moved from New York to LA. They did a lot of those issues.
Yep.
Like Eddie Nunes, man, he's
Convergence,
fantastic. Like he should just be working for Udon and put Street Fighter out on a regular basis.
Now I wonder if they would, because it was part of Wildstorm. I wonder if they could get J. Scott Campbell.
That'd be hard.
Get Campbell, get Joe Mad, because they already have them doing covers.
Yeah. They all sprung out of the
and
Wildstorm.
get what's his face,
Humberto
Ramos.
That's
I
the
mean,
three.
be tough
Those
out of
are-
Marvel, but those three were Cliffhanger. That was the Wildstorm imprint, and get those three guys back to do. They don't even no interior work, obviously, but at least covers or something, because
That'd be cool.
DC's been really good with these variant covers they've been doing with Rebirth, the Open Order. One artist doing variant covers consistently.
Now, Joe Matt should just draw anything he's doing is finished stupid, what's it called?
Battle Chase.
Well, the game.
No, fuck the game. Just finish Battle Chase, please.
Oh.
So that my really expensive hardcover would be totally worthless and
Yeah.
I have to rebuy everything. But
Yeah.
he needs to just finish that, please.
I don't know. I mean, we could be sitting here in 6 months just being like, it's a bunch of no ones and it all sucks.
It's possible.
But
Or
well, they weren't stupid at Rebirth. They weren't stupid about
yeah, but you know what would be cool if they springboard a bunch of new artists with this too.
Oh, sure. I mean,
What if they
that's
find a
what
bunch
Wildstorm-
of new artists that were like kind of in the Wildstorm genre like style?
Yeah.
And this is how they kind of nurture new guys up. And with that kind of environment, the studio environment, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, if it's Jim Lee and Ellis and his guys all taking these new kids and
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. I mean, I'd be down for that too. Right?
Well, Warren Ellis.
You know what I'd like to see in this?
What's that?
New 50 Sue.
No, Jesus, no, please. Warren Ellis is really good about taking some smaller and budding artists and doing some really good independent work with them, and then they all blow up afterwards.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I'm hoping. I mean, look, we need new blood in this comic book industry, anyways, right? So if this is the way to get them, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, when Ellis was writing Stormwatch Authority and Planetary, I mean, I read all three of them, every single issue. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
My take on Ellis these days, I'm a little cool on, but
maybe this is something Ellis needs himself.
Well,
yeah.
If he can actually do more than 6 issues, I'll be there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He just drops these projects and doesn't go back. I think the James Bond comic he's doing now, which are up to like issue 7 or 9 or whatever, is the longest comic run he's done in recent years. Everything he does, he just drops.
Well, they bring him in. Well, they appear to bring him in to do a lot of launches.
Yeah.
So I don't even necessarily know if it's something where he
way off schedule.
drops it, or if it's something more along the lines of they get him to come in, pay him a good amount of money to do 6 issues, and then bring in somebody else.
Well, if he oversees it and doesn't have to do the day-to-day work in the way that Jeff Johns does it for Rebirth, even if he's not writing the stuff, it could still be good because it's his guys involved on the writing end.
Yeah.
Jim Lee handles the art end. The guys
I'd be all
do
for
the
that
art.
too. Because again, new writers, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Well, if they use new writers,
Yeah.
but they have to they have that program, right? The
Yeah,
writers
Scott
program,
Snyder.
the artist program. What if that's actually getting shifted into this? It'd be really cool.
Very possible. Yeah, very possible. So I'm down. Very, very down. All right, we got a couple of things to talk about. This was announced a little bit ago. DC's doing a Kamandi Challenge comic where they have 12 different creators doing 24 different creators doing 12 issues of a Kamandi one-shot. They all do their own one-shot issue, no connection to the other. They just do their own crazy story. So this is going to start launching pretty soon here.
Wait. I'm sorry. I thought that they did their own story, but each new story had to pick up where the last one left off.
Or it's something like that. Yeah. I mean, they're not following like one.
So
it's Earth as Kamandi sort of encountered it, and each issue starts off with where he left off in the starting point, and then he goes and has his adventures, and then the second issue picks off where that one left off. But then by the time they get back to the 12th issue, he has to end up where he started off.
Close. So it says here, the first team begins the story in one section, while the last team ends the story in the same location. Each issue will take readers to a different portion of Earth AD, and all teams are working completely independent of each other, so they have no idea what stories are being written.
That's so awesome!
So this is based off the old DC Challenge book from the 80s where they did a very similar thing.
That is so cool, man.
And I don't know for sure, but these creators were teamed up at random according to this. I mean, who knows? Because Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner are working together, so it couldn't be that random, or it's incredibly coincidental.
Did they say random?
It says at random. It says creators were teamed up at random.
It may just be a package deal.
Yeah.
So they do one issue.
Yeah.
But Dan Abnett, Dale Eaglesham.
This is for Kirby's
100th? It leads up to Kirby's 100th birthday, with the final issue will be on Jack Kirby's 100th birthday. So Dan Abnett, Dan Eaglesham is doing one issue. Peter Tomasi and Neil Adams, Palmiotti and Condor, James Tynion, and Carlos Danda. So there's Danda.
Yeah.
Yep. Bill Willingham and Ivan Rice. That's a interesting team. Steve Orlando and Philip Tan. Was Tan actually Wildstorm stuff?
Yeah. He briefly,
He did like
Okay.
Spirit of the Tau, right?
Is that Wildstorm?
Oh, I have that whole run, Spirit of the
That was
fucking
Top Cow.
Tau.
That was Top Cow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that was under the Straczynski imprint, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because that was
the
Prodigy that
garbage
was
90s
writing
imprint.
it. Wasn't it? Forgot her name. But yeah, that was the Prodigy that was writing it.
Marguerite Bennett and Dan Jurgens on art, which he doesn't do a lot of just solo art. Keith Giffen and Steve Rude, that's one to look forward to. Tom King and Kevin Eastman, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's real crazy. That Kevin Eastman's actually doing a full interior comic. Yeah. Greg Pak and Joe Prado. And Joe Prado, is Prado Wildstorm? Am I thinking of someone else?
I'll remember.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Rob Williams and Walter Simonson. It's good to see Simonson doing more interior work. And Gail Simone and Ryan Sook. Also good to see Ryan Sook doing interior work.
Local boy.
Yep. And there's going to be an oversized kind of first and last issue. So with Dan Didio, Keith Giffen, Len Wein, and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. So classics. Good. I'm really excited. I love this shit. I really love this stuff.
Yeah,
I love these anthologies. Cool. I mean, classic anthologies don't really sell, but when they do these kind of specialized books, Marvel did it with they had what was their book? This is a while back, but they had a book similar to this. Oh man, I was thinking about it earlier, and I just totally. Well, I'll remember it. But I'm sorry, really excited for this book. So we'll see that. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do with the Kirby kind of Kirbyverse stuff at DC. All the New Gods and Darkseid with the Justice League movie coming up soon. With Darkseid obviously going to be an important factor in the expanded universe of the DC Comics. It does not surprise me that they're bringing a new focus to the Kirby characters. And hopefully, Charlie, will get a Kirby Omnibus series of all the New God stuff. Because they've had those hardcovers, but we need a nice, oversized, big omnibus.
If they will do a nice, oversized omnibus, I would rebuy it and
in chronological order.
Do something else with those hardcovers.
They need to. Because those have been out of print for too long.
Yeah. And those were nice, too. I mean, there's nothing like it in comics, the way they launched the whole New God stuff and just...
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all 4 series completely interconnected and very interesting. We have another big announcement here. This, New York Comic Con's this weekend, and there's going to be a lot to talk about next week, I assume. There's going to be a lot of big announcements, but DC has kind of let some of this stuff slip in the lead up to New York Comic Con, so I'm sure we'll get a lot more for next week. But Justice League America officially announced. I believe it launches in February. Steve Orlando and Ivan Rice are the creative teams, and I feel like they talked about that a couple weeks ago. I think we mentioned that. But it's actually going to be launching with a series of one-shots by various creators, and Steve Orlando kind of overseeing everything. And the first 4, there may be more, but the first 4 that we know are the Ryan Choi, Adam, the new, more recent Ray, the more recent Ray character. We're also getting We're also getting Killer Frost in the Justice League, which is a weird team up, as well as Vixen. So those are the first 4 characters that are going to be as part of Justice League. Justice League America, I should say. And the pitch is kind of like, America is a very diverse place, so we're going to have a very diverse Justice League, which is great. So you kind of get your more classic Justice League, and then your Justice League America is a very lots of B and C list characters, and trying to do some interesting stuff with them. So I always like that. And I think kind of this is the last big story. Lead up to New York Comic Con again. Like I said, a lot of news we're going to have next week. But Comixology, so hopefully a lot of you people listening use that. We have our digital store, digital.comics, conspiracy.biz.
There's a big Vertigo sale that ended.
Huge Vertigo sale, but I think it ended today, or it ended yesterday. We sold so many books from that. Huge sale. Always check that. They're actually going to publish original content. This is their first real push into original content. You can only get through Comixology. So obviously I like it when people buy stuff in the store, but since you physically can't, if you would like to purchase these items, I would hope you would go to our digital store that you can find on comicsconspiracy.biz. And there's going to be an Adventure Time special. Valiant's going to publish a book called Valiant High. And from Harvey Kurtzman, who's a classic. This is an adaptation of adapted by Harvey Kurtzman. He's a classic comic artist. He's doing his adaptation of A Christmas Carol. It's called Marley's Ghost. So that graphic novel will be initially available only in Comixology. Wouldn't surprise me if there's a print version of that down the road, but at least for now.
Something like a digital first then?
Yeah. It says here, it says winter 2017, so digital first for about a year.
Yeah.
So these should be, I believe these are available very soon. I don't think these are actually out yet. I may actually be wrong about that. It says pre-order today. I'm not sure if that means they're actually out yet. They may launch this weekend at New York Comic Con, but that's going to be very soon.
Well, they have a couple of things already up there because, I mean, they have that whole creator-submitted comic line and that kind of stuff.
This is the first time they're kind of doing bigger content.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've obviously are dealing with major publishers this time.
And they've had, Marvel's done a few exclusive digital comics in the past. And those, what were those Marvel? I think they've stopped them, but the
Infinite ones?
Infinite, yeah. I haven't, are they still doing those? I haven't heard.
Well,
I haven't looked in a long time.
Ulysses, I think, is an Infinite.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the same content, or is it like a continuation from the?
No, it's the same. So it's like the first 2 chapters in a digital is the first issue in physical.
Maybe that's why it didn't sell so well.
I mean, DC also did their share of digital first stuff that they would then collect. Like Batman Beyond stuff was that way for a long time.
Yeah. DC's done it with the Bombshells and a few of their
Teen Titans Go.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get into a little non-spoiler talk here, and then we'll wrap up with some questions. But we're going to talk about some Luke Cage. So, again, no spoilers. For people that have watched Luke Cage, if you don't want to know anything, you probably want to turn off the podcast, maybe give us half an hour. Or fast forward or
Talking
whatever.
about 2 hours.
This is the non-spoiler.
No,
this is initial here.
No, even I don't have that much to say.
Initial impression.
Oh, yes, you do.
Light talk, no spoilers. Because it just came out. We're not even a week out. But
I'll tell you, here's a spoiler for my lack of spoilers, is that I'm going to spoil something slightly spoilery, but I won't have any spoilers.
Okay.
I still need to watch Jessica Jones.
You
haven't watched Jessica Jones? Dude,
did you watch Daredevil season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are wrecking my head. You've seen Suicide Squad and BVS and not Jessica Jones?
Yeah. But I also have other shows I watch. Like
anyway,
I
can we go on?
So I've seen the first 3. All right. So I still have a lot to go.
So can we talk up to the first 3?
No. I mean, you can talk about whatever you want. Just general impressions, no spoilers. But let me tell you this. Where we are first 3 episodes in, I think Luke Cage is the best of all the seasons of all the shows so far where I am. Now, I mean, maybe it gets worse, maybe it gets better. I have no idea. But, I mean, I like Jessica Jones a whole lot. And especially the first season of Daredevil I really liked. But I think Cage is equal or better than where those shows were at this same point. I'm really, really liking.
Could you non-spoilerifically extrapolate?
I think it's. I like the character. I love the villain. I mean, I know there's kind of multiple villains, especially in the back half, but at least for the first half.
Whoa! That's already a spoiler. What do you mean?
Well,
I didn't know that. There's multiple villains.
There's multiple stories throughout.
They also changed the origin a little bit.
Yeah,
that's also a spoiler. I didn't know that either.
That's not a spoiler. I didn't say how. I didn't say who. I didn't say what.
But if I know his origin from the comic, that is a spoiler.
Do you know it?
I don't think it's very different. I mean, at least going in initially, none of this is spoiler. What I'm about to say is not spoiler. I mean, Luke Cage, he's defending Harlem, at least initially, from a gang leader named Cottonmouth. And I mean, this is all trailers. None of this is spoiler talk. I mean, this is the basic.
He's a gang leader. No, I'm kidding.
This is the basic setup for the show. But I don't remember the guy's name, but I know he's in House of Cards. The guy that plays Cottonmouth.
Yeah, Remy.
He's
the actor's name. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but it's
the
Remy.
guy with the glasses.
He's incredible.
Remy is so good.
Yeah,
he's a great villain.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and
he's really good in House of Cards.
He's really good in House of Cards.
That's what Leanne says. She loves that show. Oh no, let me rephrase it. She doesn't love the show, but I think she likes the characters in the show, but I think she doesn't love the show. If that makes any sense.
Nope.
It's too political. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that seems unlike the Higgins family.
That's just me.
To be annoyingly political.
That's just me.
Yeah.
And I'm like ignorantly political, so that's even worse.
God, you are the worst.
So yeah, I mean the villain's great. It's so brutal, just so wrong, and I mean I'm sure I haven't even seen half of it yet. For anyone that saw that,
you didn't see half of it. You only seen
a third of it, a fourth of it. Yeah.
A fourth, yeah.
For anyone that saw that extended fight scene trailer they put out, that's basically, I think, just like the third like half the third episode in a trailer form. The fight where he takes the car door off, and that whole segment was incredible.
Crisp as addicts.
Yeah,
so good.
So that, I mean, it's just it's. I mean, some of it you're like, I kind of see where this is going, But I really like it. I think
Luke Cage is enjoyable, is what you're saying.
So the villains in Daredevil, I thought were pretty weak across the board. Punisher was amazing, but the villains themselves, I mean, I don't like.
I liked Kingpin in the first season.
I'm 50-50 on Kingpin. I love Purple Man. Kilgrave was amazing. I thought so far the best. Cottonmouth is probably a very close second so far.
He's also the most complicated out of them all.
Right.
By far. And he's mirroring Luke Cage's story quite a bit.
Right. So,
which it kind of did in
Charlie
Kingpin also.
I think you're actually the furthest of all of us. So I
think so.
You're at episode 10. Was it 13 total?
Spoiler alert, Charlie loved it.
Well, so here's my...
Charlie's been staying up late watching it.
There's going to be one day Charlie's going to be like, no, I did not love it. Stop saying that. But today's not the day.
No. Or tomorrow.
It was... So far, it's been very good. I don't feel like it's gotten any worse or anything past where you're at. But I also disagree with you that I still like Jessica Jones and such better. Just personal preference.
You like Jessica Jones better than Cage?
Yeah.
Or Daredevil as well? Or just Jessica Jones? Because Jessica Jones is fantastic.
Daredevil also. I mean, the thing about both Jessica Jones and Daredevil is I got hooked on episode 1.
I was pretty much hooked immediately from Cage, too.
For me, it took a couple more. Like, by around episode 3, I'm like, okay, now I'm really getting engaged in this. But episode 1 did not have that effect on me.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryce, he didn't fully love it from episode 1. That's somewhat new.
Who are you, and what have you done with Charlie?
But no, the best non-spoilerific thing I can say about it is I love the use of his abilities throughout it. It's just they do a very, very, very good job of dealing with the details. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I had this episode on the Geek Box last night. I think that's where I had this conversation with. Well, no, I'm trying to remember if that's where it was.
Oh,
where I said, look, you could take Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and put them in the Avengers movie. They're more powerful or stronger, or they could do more stuff than Hawkeye or Black Widow or Captain America or Nick Fury, right? I mean, they're powered people, but I love that the shows play that so low, and in Luke Cage, it's non-existent so far. I think that's where Daredevil kind of lost me. I think the Elektra stuff, the hand, that really lost me.
Careful what you say. I know.
I think it doesn't work as well.
I'm picking on you.
Whereas I think in the DC superhero shows, the superpowers work very well. I think they do a great job with Flash. I like all Arrow's villains for the most part, the bigger ones. But Marvel, when they've gone to the superheroes on the Netflix shows, the supervillains, I should say, like the really overt powers.
So Iron Fist is going to be very interesting for you then.
Well, I'm very curious about Iron Fist. If it's just a martial arts show, awesome.
No, they're setting up. They're setting up the Defender series with all the mystical stuff.
Right. Well, so my thing with Purple Man is I feel like they could have him exist almost without powers. He's just a very persuasive guy. Like, obviously he has to have powers to do what he does in the show, but they're not overly flashy superhero powers. Does that make sense? I mean...
Not to me. I just disagree. But it's all right.
He could,
we don't have to agree. I just disagree.
Kilgrave could accomplish.
You're looking for.
Kilgrave could accomplish what he wants to
in other ways.
Without powers.
Yeah, I got you there.
Potentially, right? But I feel like Elektra in the hand and all the mystical shit, like it didn't click with me because the Punisher stuff was incredible.
Just keep waiting.
The Punisher stuff. Oh,
just keep watching.
I trust me. I am really excited for Iron Fist. Oh, and they dated it. I think it's March.
Yeah,
real soon.
March 17th.
Yeah, real soon.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for Iron Fist.
Is that soon? 6 months from now.
Yeah, that's real soon.
And then another 6
these
months for
days-
Defenders.
Yeah.
These days, that's real soon.
So Toby, Bryce, what'd you guys think? I know you guys are pretty hyped on the show so far.
The Mighty Bryce.
They went Higgins West.
All right. I absolutely love it. I think it's probably my favorite Netflix show, even though Daredevil's probably my favorite character out of the bunch. But story-wise and side character-wise, I absolutely love it. Misty Knight is fantastic.
So
I'd be honest, I didn't read a whole lot of Misty Knight in the comic books, but her version on Netflix, love it.
can I say something really quick?
Sure.
I didn't realize that was her in the first episode because they never actually call her by name.
Oh, really? She's got the crazy awesome hair.
I just apparently missed somehow that she was like
Announced?
the second major character in the show.
Yeah.
Didn't you read? Casey tweeted us with that bingo card for the shot glasses.
Well, so I don't pay a ton of attention to these shows when they're coming up because I want to try to. But the movies, it's different because I feel like I'm just going to get the big fight scene. Okay, I can see the trailer and build up to it.
Spoiler avoid.
But for the TV shows, I really try to avoid.
Right. That's why because I read that bingo card that he sent, and I was like, what? Like half the stuff I was like, is this person even in the show?
I don't know.
And half of it I still don't know. So.
Yeah, but yeah, that's funny. They don't really call her by name till like halfway through the second
No, but I
episode.
mean,
No,
like-
they show the little star on the ground at the basketball court with the initials.
Charlie just took my thunder. That was my absolute favorite scene in the show
Charlie-
so far.
Oh, what?
Absolute favorite scene so far.
A little hyperbolic, maybe?
No, absolutely my favorite scene so far.
Wow.
her playing
Playground
basketball.
star. Her playground star. The whole reveal, like she's a former baller and the playground hoop star. Favorite scene so far.
Right on. Keep going.
Yeah.
So how many episodes are you in? 7, 8, something like that?
I'm 7 or 8. Yeah, I think I fell asleep somewhere around that ballpark, and I have to rewind a little bit and refresh my memory a little bit. No, absolutely love the story. Absolutely love the side characters. Actually, Pop is really cool. And the music, I really dig the music. You got Raphael Sadiq, a Oakland guy that used to perform with Prince and Sheila E. Later famous for.
Was that the guy that did the solo
In the very first episode, Tony Tone. You know Tony Tone?
Yeah.
Later, one of my favorite albums, Lucy Pearl, that's him. Seeing him, that was cool. I think a couple episodes later, we got Faith Evans from, the Bad Boys era, Puff Daddy and married to Biggie.
I don't know.
So, the artists, and they had Charles Bradley, the older funk musician. I mean, these are all legit known artists that they have on the show that are performing in Cotton Mouse Club. So I like seeing all those nods. That was really.
I love the music they have, the performers.
Yeah,
They
no, that's what.
really,
Yeah,
really
those
like
are.
that
Yeah,
stuff,
they're
yeah.
all known people.
Yeah.
And it just supposedly keeps on growing because Method Man supposedly is on later.
Really?
Spoiler. Sorry, I did a spoiler.
That is
My
a
bad.
spoiler.
My bad.
Delete the podcast.
Charlie,
Let's start
have you
over.
seen
Yeah.
Method Man yet?
I'm not sure I would recognize it if I did.
Well, they already teased him with the Wu-Tang Clan song in the show.
That's not a tease.
It's a tease. It's
What?
It's
Because they
him
play-
coming.
they
No,
play-
that's a bad tease.
Yeah,
All right,
it's-
never mind. You got me. All right,
Yeah.
Bryce, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me.
Bryce
you got
won,
me.
Toby's
Yeah,
zero. Okay.
yeah. All right. But I got a couple on you, so we're not quite even
still
yet.
way behind.
Yeah. There you go. No, overall, I mean, and timing wise, of the show is just crazy. You have a black bulletproof superhero in a hoodie. I thought timing was phenomenal. Yeah, I think it's just needed.
Yeah, it's a very accurate show for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryce.
So I also loved it. I think that I would put, and I haven't rewatched. These things are always interesting with rose-colored glasses. I think that I would put it just above or just below Daredevil Season 2. I like Daredevil Season 2 way more than anybody did. I think Daredevil Season 1 is still the best. I really like... I mean, there's not a huge sample size, right? I guess gun to my head, Daredevil Season 1, Daredevil Season 2, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. I just don't like Jessica Jones as much as you guys did. I could talk.
I'm with you.
I could talk more about that, but
The only difference is I like Season 2 of Daredevil better than Season 1.
really,
Yeah.
okay. So that makes one of us.
Yeah.
But I really liked both, and it's like the Marvel movies problem, not the DC movies problem. Of all of these A properties, which one is the best one? Anyway, I didn't go into Luke Cage liking it. I did not like the first 2 episodes. I was like, the first episode, I was like, okay. There was like 30 seconds of action, and then by the end of episode 2. There was like a cumulative 60 seconds of action. And I was like, okay, this fucking show had better pick up because this is like risking Jessica Jones level reaction from me. Like I appreciate what they're trying to do and I understand what they're trying to do, but there's so much character development. It was like, can't you go like beat someone's ass, Luke Cage? Like,
well, they're building up Cottonmouth. They're building up all that.
Don't get me wrong. The character development in those first 2 episodes was practically all they did. And they did a great job, but it was like, look, I don't watch action TV shows to have The Wire level action. Any of you that have seen The Wire know that it is much more about character development. Anyway.
There's a lot of Wire characters in the show.
Yep.
A lot.
Yep.
So...
Wait, which episode are you on?
Okay, yeah. Stop spoiling everything then.
Sorry.
Wait, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, is there a single one and I'm watching them all?
You see at least one.
Who's the one?
Pup?
Oh, yeah, good point. I forgot about that.
And
okay.
wait, which episode are you on? Because there might be another.
5 or 6.
You should admit the other one, too.
I don't know what episode that was.
This is exciting radio. Anyway, so
we're all talking in code.
Yeah, so I'll get there. But for all of those of you that are on the fence, I will say I thought that episode 1 was relatively brutal in terms of, wow, like, how long are the episodes? Are they 45 minutes? 1 hour?
Close to an hour.
It's like 95% character development and then 5% action. And the second episode is the same.
And the action is different. That's why maybe it's standing out a little bit, because Luke Cage is so strong that he just punches people. It's a little different than watching Daredevil swinging around and doing acrobatic things.
Yes,
and so
again, I really like Luke Cage. Like, this is an argument of, these two great things, which is better. So, it's tongue in cheek. But my thing is, like, for my personal preference, I was looking for more action, and not everybody's going to be looking for more action from that. I mean, there's a ton of character development, which, like, Bryce's clone from the DC universe is going to be like, this is actually fantastic. Mm-hmm. Because the character development is totally there, and as soon as a certain episode came along and there was a certain rocket launcher that happened in a certain episode,
mm-hmm. I think that's where the last. Oh, is that 4? Because that's the last thing I saw.
Okay, I was not going to spoil because I thought that might be a spoiler, but that's at the. Wait, no, I won't say it. But no, you're wrong. It is.
We're talking in code again.
I don't know what to spoil.
Or should we do a whole podcast like this?
You said no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. Yeah.
All right, so I won't spoil.
Yes, a person has a rocket launcher in the show. That's all you need to say. That's the last thing I saw.
Okay. So I think that as soon as that moment happened, I was like, oh my God, that's pretty aggressive.
But you got some big action scenes prior to that, though.
No?
Yeah, you got the whole attack in the whole attack and his whole
the car door.
Is a car door.
Did Christmas Haddocks happen before the rocket launcher?
Before that,
because that's why the rocket launcher.
It's fine. It's fine.
Wait, that's all episode 3, right?
That's all before. Yeah. And you get to shoot out at the. You get the whole start of the plot.
Okay. So my point is,
there is action in this show.
Has been a continuing point is that the first 2 episodes I thought were very slow.
Okay.
I thought that each of them had like 1 minute of action, and the remainder of the episode was character development. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that I was kind of like, Luke Cage, beat some ass, please. But, dude, I'm telling you guys, if you're on the fence about this show, episode 3, and I hate Ryan Scott and Ryan Higgins level, hate when people are like, oh, just hang in there for 2 seasons and then it'll get good.
Oh, I did that to you, too.
With 100 Bullets.
100.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, no, the 100.
Oh, yeah, I just stopped watching that.
You bastard.
But you did that to me there, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, episode 3, I think that it gets much better. So if you're on the fence and you get through episode 3 and still don't like it, then leave it alone. I get kind of annoyed at how preachy he is, about how goody two-shoes he is, but that's a very nitpicky thing. In general, the character development across the whole set of characters is great. The action has been great so far. His general mission is great. I love all the references. There's a ton of references to all the other Marvel properties, sort of reminding you that it's part of a bigger connected universe. I love the idea. Oh my god! I won't spoil it, but there's a certain. Well, there's more than one, but in the early episodes, there's a certain character from one of the other properties that. From one of the other Netflix properties that comes into this series and just reminds you that, the Daredevil versus Jessica Jones versus Luke Cage, like, geographical areas are very disparate and that they all have their own
corners.
Their own corners of New York and oh man, it's so good. It's really good. It's not the greatest thing. I'm not as on the jock as these guys are, but it is very, very good. And so I like Daredevil season 2 more than the average person, so I would put this 3rd out of the 4, but it was still really good. I would probably give it a B+.
Yeah, I will give us a couple weeks. We'll do a full spoiler cast.
Yeah, I'm
down
also
the road.
only that's a good point. I'm also only 5 or 6 episodes in, so
Charlie will be done tomorrow.
Yeah, tonight.
Well,
Tonight.
TV keeps creeping back up again, so I might end up slowing down a little.
Those last 2 episodes are gonna take
exactly.
take you a whole 2 days.
Last 3.
We got a
Because
lot.
I'm on episode 10.
because isn't
Well, no, I'm on episode 10, so I have to watch 10,
you haven't
11.
done-
Oh,
Next-
isn't Flash on tonight?
Flash is on tonight.
Next, this weekend is New York Comic Con, and we had the return of a bunch of the shows this week. So, oh boy, next week's going to be a big one. All right, let's hit up some questions here, and then we'll wrap up. This one from Chris. It says, "Who gets the heavyweight the heavyweight belt?" I could try that again.
Me.
For best comic artist today. Oh god, here we go. Frank Quietly or Jerome Pena? I mean, it's not even a question. Just Quietly.
What?
Dude, first of all, you said his name wrong again. That fucking troll on the forums is gonna have your ass.
Frank Quietly.
Yes, there
Yes,
you go.
Quietly.
I don't think you said it like that the first time.
Jerome Pena is fine, but I'm not the biggest fan.
Pena is like fucking Leonardo da Vinci compared to that's the wrong Picasso. Pablo Picasso. Okay, artist fail. Compared to your garbage artist, quite frankly.
No. Quietly's great.
Oh god, everybody's like collagen-y and pimply and pussy and
Old.
overweight, even if they're not. And like
old.
Superman's
It's not just the
Superman's
character.
got love handles.
It's
like,
not just the character designs, although they are amazing. It's the paneling, it's the layout, it's the flow, it's the style. It's
Says the guy that doesn't care about art.
I do when it's really good.
I will.
Oh.
I will grant you that Morrison Lee, he does. No, I was trying to make that.
Yeah.
I was trying, no. But I will grant you that he does do sort of his layouts, his scenes are great.
Yep.
I just, in my personal and correct opinion, he is just terrible at making people look pimply and pussy and chubby all the time, even when they're not. Is there a superhero called Skinny Bird, Skinny Boy, Skinny Bird, Skinny Person?
Oh,
there probably is in the fucking DC
when
Rebirth universe. He is just probably going to make them as chubby and pudgy and pussy.
When he drew New X-Men,
there's a character in New X-Men.
What's the
called
bird guy?
Fucking Bird
or Beak?
No, Beak.
Beak.
Yes.
Yeah. He drew Beak super skinny.
Beak
Quentin
is
Quire was pretty skinny.
He's literally like a bird. They don't have body fat, and he makes him like pimply and chubby, and like little love handles on him too.
No.
You've never seen a fatter bird outside of Thanksgiving than Frank quietly
now
drawing Beak.
now you're just
Like
lying.
he is the fucking
I
worst.
think the issue that people has is his heads are a little big, and they look a little off.
You know whose head is big is Frank Quietly, because he keeps getting hired back for jobs. He is the most disgusting artist that has ever drawn anything outside of JRJR.
Okay.
Do you have another question?
I do have another question. It's from Tyler.
I like to remind everybody that Ryan Higgins has the original quiet.
Not only do I have an originally quietly
page in the back office.
So I have
an original.
I have had
with a giant penis.
Yeah, I have had multiple people tell me in the past. They're like, "You look like a Frank Quitely drawing." I'm dead serious. I am dead serious, and I never knew quite how to take that.
You know, we need to get somebody to get Frank Quitely to draw a headshot of you.
I never was quite sure how to take that, but I was like, "Thank you." I think I really like.
I
Frank
see a lot of pimply stuff going on in the face.
Is that it? Yeah.
That chunkiness is there.
That is crazy, quite frankly.
So this is from Tyler. He says, "Are there any characters?
I'm not done yet.
Are there any characters from the Big Two created in the last 5 years that you guys actually like? 5 years?
Yes.
Wait. So
Yes.
Silk.
Yeah. Well, why'd you take my thunder?
That's what you were gonna say.
Yes, it's true.
I like New 52.
Oh,
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wait,
she's
New
awesome.
Really?
Yeah, I like New 52.
She's awful.
Oh, do I get to say
Who?
Angela
New
from
52.
Guardians of the Galaxy? Does she count? Because
No.
she's a new character.
I have another one.
What's that?
Scarlet Spider, the new one.
He's not new though.
Yeah, he is.
He's an old character.
No, but he's different. He's rebranded.
Oh, are we
Sure.
counting rebrandings? Because Karnak is rebranded.
No.
I just opened the door.
Superboy.
Jonathan Kent?
Yeah.
Or Jonathan
Well,
White?
both
Sure.
issues that he's been in.
No. Oh, man.
Are you talking about Baby
been in-
Superman?
He's been in a bunch, and the Superman book right now
20-something
is
issues.
Superman.
What?
Incredible.
Between the Lois and Clark series before and the Superman issues now.
Actually,
he's-
more than
And
that.
Trinity.
Yeah.
He was in
Okay,
Trinity.
Vision's dog was adorable.
I'll give you Vision's dog and Viv.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so
Single tier.
I did not read Champions #1 yet. However, I did specifically flip to the pages that Viv is in, the Vision's daughter.
Wait. Are you going to spoil something? Because I'm going to fucking break your ass.
No, but Vision and Champions cannot exist in the same universe. I just want to let people know this. That if you're like, oh, I like that Vision book, this is not the same. I mean, it's the same character, but it is not the same character.
Can you just say some more spoiler things? Because I do actually want to see Bryce break your ass and see how it looks like.
It would
After-
we wouldn't
after-
get the
so we
podcast
have-
published though. Because
There is
he's only on the
there is
news.
no possible way they can have the events that have occurred in the 11 issues of Vision line up with any other appearance of this character in the Marvel Universe, and this includes Viv's first appearance outside her own comic, which is
What if at the
in Champions.
end of Vision they have like a complete reset and everything is back to normal?
Sure, if they get a cosmic cube and reset the universe, then fine. If they get,
I just spoiled the
if
fucking
they
out
get
of
the
Vision.
gauntlet
Thank you very much.
and they reset the universe,
Or it-
I will accept
Because
it.
that's so crazy to consider from this story arc as it's been going.
Or think about this. It's all in Vision's head.
That'd be a horrible cop-out.
I know, but I'm...
Anyway, I like Ulysses. Oh, you probably fucking like Gwenpool.
Get the fuck out of here.
You
Wait,
like
no,
Squirrel Girl
Okay.
so much, and all your DC love.
anything with Gwen, Dead, or Pool in it? No. Any of those three words? No.
Okay, how about Phil Coulson? No, you don't like
This
him
point
either.
is probably more than 5 years, isn't it?
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he's got to be more than 5 years.
So I mean,
Hey, he first appeared in Iron Man. That was
talking about
almost 10 years
talking
ago.
about reboots, I think that Old Man Logan should sort of deserves a little
a nod.
a nod.
Nope. I love Gotham Girl. Gotham Girl's cool.
Yeah.
Nobody else likes her. Female Thor also gets a nod. Jane Foster obviously
I'll give you that
existed,
one. I'll give you that
but
one.
she's
Yeah, I
been
like
pretty
that one.
cool, and
Yeah, I like
and she's relatively new, kind
give
of
you that
sort
one.
of asterisk.
Silver Surfer's girlfriend. What's her face? Why can't I think of her name?
Oh,
Gold Girl.
no.
Charlie's straining. We're both straining. What's her name? I like her.
that slot
Yeah.
creation.
Yeah. She's cool.
Polka dot wearing chick.
Yeah. I can't remember her name now.
Nobody.
Okay,
Charlie's going to have to grab the comic and look.
While you're failing to remember her, you know who's cute is, and this is something that I guarantee none of you will agree
Dawn
with.
Greenwood.
Dawn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
X-23's little clone of herself, the newest Wolverine.
The other Wolverine.
Yeah. She's
Jessica Cruz, Justice League, and Green Lanterns. I like her. She's cool.
Can I go beyond 5 years? I like Armor.
That's
No,
like
that's
10, that's
not
like
the question.
That's like 10, 12 years ago now.
The question is limiting it to this.
Well, I'm so
Damien
behind
just
by
passed
5
by.
years that it's new to me now.
No, Damien's older than that. Damien was Morrison's run was like 06.
Was it 06?
Yeah, Damien's like Damien's technically.
Well, he goes
Damien
back all the way to the
goes
80s.
back to the 80s. Technically,
No, but it's like female Thor. I think that it counts if they're a new.
but even Damien and
That's been beyond.
Morrison's
These.
Batman
That was like when I was at Legends.
It was almost 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
that was a long time
There
ago.
must be some of the Guardians of the Galaxy must be within the
Me and
past 5
Charlie
years.
been
Are they
here with
all?
you for
are
10
they
years.
all recycled? I think they are.
Oh, the Guardians?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, Toby just brought something up. I actually not necessarily going to mention it on the podcast, but I guess I will.
I did that accidentally, but
Yeah.
yes, we should totally talk about that.
Well, we can talk about this really quick.
Let's do that now.
October
While
1st.
Bryce thinks before he
October
catches-
1st was the 10th anniversary of me buying Comics Conspiracy.
Yay! Wait,
So-
that means we've been working for you for more than 10 years.
More than 10 years, because you guys were here
Shit.
before I bought it.
Oh, what about Old Man Logan?
That was like a decade
No.
ago.
He had the Miller arc, but then there was nothing forever, and now he's like an actual character, right? Because what was that arc? 6 issues?
8 and a special or something?
8 and a special? Oh, so it was like.
It was a while.
It was like,
yeah.
No, I think it was like 6.
It was a 6 and a special?
6 and a special.
Anyway, I think that he's, not new,
Not really,
but they're
'cause
actually
it's
making him.
just a future version of Wolverine.
They're making him more than a one-dimensional character. Anyway, I'm sorry. You bought this place. That's very exciting.
Yeah, 10th anniversary.
Zing.
So there you go. 10 years.
10 years. That's
Crazy
you know
times.
What? I will be the only one at the table to raise my glass to you.
Thank you. And in April, 20 years of me working here, so that's ridiculous. So that means you guys are over 10 years, and you're coming up on 10 years.
I'm coming up on 10 years.
Yeah.
And I spent 10 years at Legends.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah, 'cause
done over 20 years in this industry.
Sucks, huh?
Fuck, I'm old.
Ugh,
April?
aren't we all?
Maybe.
What about me? I'm feeling left out with all these anniversaries. When did I first become a customer?
I don't know. I don't remember. You just were always here.
That seems accurate. I'm pretty unmemorable. So.
No, it's not that. You just... I don't even... I can kind of remember you coming here
I
for the
did
first
phase
time.
in at one point. It was before you owned it, and then
I
all
think
of a sudden you owned it, and then
you got in tight with like Scott and a few of the other guys just because you were here, and
Well,
Yeah.
you were off at school when I first started.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You were down in L.A.
Wow, your memory is actually impressive.
Yeah. And you would
He's been
you would come in
following
and go,
you.
You'd come in and go, I barely have any money. I need to get some comics.
Oh, how the times have changed. Now I have no
Actually, it's
time
pretty
and
much
plenty of
the
money.
same. You're like, I don't have any money because
Oh.
I got kids.
Yeah,
Well, let
true
me get some comics.
True that.
Congrats,
Anyway.
Ryan.
Busy going. That also means I've been shopping at
This store.
this store for close to 20 years.
You guys know the funny Charlie
Yeah.
Toby story about Legends and Comics Conspiracy, right?
yeah,
It is a funny story.
I think
Yeah.
you told it, but you
Yeah.
can tell it
Do you
again.
want to tell it
yeah.
again?
Sure! For all the people that have only listened to it twice. Yeah. So, am I really telling it?
We're all waiting.
Okay, so when I was working on Legends, and then they hired Charlie, I realized that Charlie would read all the books, but he would never buy any. So there's one day I went to Charlie, go, what the fuck, man? I know you're reading all the books. You're not reading them here. So you're obviously buying them, but you're not buying them here. So what's going on? He goes, well, I've been buying them at this other comic book store. And he goes, they've been giving me the same discount. It's the same that they would give me here, so why do I have to switch? I'm like, good point. And then he took me to the store, and I remember looking down, and he had like one of the variant Batman like second prints. I'm like, we don't fucking have that. I need to come and shop here too. That's before I took over the ordering at Legends.
Well, I remember Charlie's comment of he came to me and he goes, "Yeah, I just want to let you know I got a job at a comic store." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, that's cool. You know, congratulations, that's awesome. It's a
Yeah.
fun job. I'll cancel your box. Have fun." He goes, "No. I'm still going to buy my comics here. I'm just telling you I work at another shop." And I'm like, okay. All right.
Better.
Yes.
That is a good story.
That's a good one. Let's see. I'll do this real quick. This is from Krusty Lemon. Lovely. He says, using DC and Marvel characters, so not current continuity, go back to old Marvel DC continuity where they actually cross over.
Whoa, I'm sorry. I was reading a text from my wife. What? Say it again.
Using DC and Marvel characters,
Got it.
what would your Avengers team be made of? Or
Why not JLA?
Who would your I feel like the Avengers and Justice League are actually very different team dynamics.
Yeah, dude, it's so different.
You can't put too many Avengers on the Justice League.
You have your 5 gods on your team, and then what do the Avengers have to offer?
Because Avengers, you have Thor,
we have
and then it's like
1.5.
Who else? The Justice League, it's like
and Vision, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I think Justice League is on
Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and Flash, and Martian Manhunter. Fuck me, I got nothing. I don't even want any Marvel. I don't want any Marvel characters on my Avengers.
Well, no, the part of the Avengers is that you may have 1 or 2 super powerful characters, but most of the rest of the characters are actually fairly down to earth.
You know what is one of the most annoying things about the Marvel Universe right now is on all these Marvel Avengers titles, they are talking about like, oh, poor little Nova's not fitting in with his friends in the Avengers. He's not feeling like a superhero. Oh, poor Miles Morales. He's not feeling like an Avenger on the Avengers superhero. Oh, poor Miss Marvel. She's not feeling like an Avenger on the Avengers.
And it's like, moving on to their own book. That's what Champions is all about. It's those 3 characters making a new team.
And it's like, oh my god. And I had to go through these issues of these like, oh my god, pity party for 1.
So I have not read Champions.
3.
But I did flip through it, and like I said, I read the Viv part. And actually, I will be very curious when I read it just how much it actually is what I'm about to say. But the layout, the way they form the team, the last couple pages, sort of the level of the villain they fight, it really feels like they took the script for New Warriors #1 and redid it with these characters.
So you need to grab a copy.
So nobody will recognize it, is what you're saying.
They didn't call it New Warriors, luckily enough, but...
You mean they call it Champions?
Yeah, they called it the Champions,
yeah, so
or else I'd have to buy it.
Of what you said.
Or else no, I said luckily they didn't call it the New Warriors,
okay.
or else I'd have to buy it.
Got it.
But
so is this a homework assignment?
So which launch of New Warriors #1?
Like first issue, yeah, where Night Thrasher goes and gets a few of them, and then a couple others show up. They fight Terax. There's sort of the last page where the media sort of names them. It's like the same setup, like the exact same setup in Champions. So
you're gonna test this theory out, and
I'll read it tomorrow when I'll see. I'll read it tomorrow and see how it flows. But
are you gonna read it from your bound copy?
Maybe. But my Avenger team, you have to have your Thor, so let's put Superman on that spot. You have to have your Captain America, so let's put Batman there, right? Other than that, I'll actually give you Iron Man. I'll stick with Iron Man, and I'll give you Vision.
Why? You have Batman.
But I think you have Batman is your Cap replacement.
Yeah, but he also replaces Iron Man at the same time.
No, he's not as technical.
And he also replaces Thor. In fact, I think that my Avengers would just be Batman.
Just Batman. 7 different versions of Batman.
No, just the one.
Because I think Vision... I mean, I will give you Vision over Martian Manhunter. I think Scarlet Witch brings something
Vision
unique
over Martian Manhunter.
I mean, I like Martian Manhunter. To me, they're equivalent.
Yeah.
But I'll
agree with you there.
I'll give you another Marvel guy. I'll keep Scarlet Witch on the team.
I don't need more Marvel guys, by the way.
I'll give... Well...
So here's another thing.
I mean, Ryan Higgins would put Zatanna on the team, but I'll keep Scarlet Witch because I think
Ryan Higgins would probably put fucking Speedball on the team.
She's more classic,
but
we're getting there.
But I think that there's a fundamental difference between he's asking for our Avengers team versus our Justice League team.
Right, that's what I mean. So that's why I'm trying to stick with a couple main Avengers, couple main Justice League, and then you always have your outliers. You have your couple weird guys, like when fucking D-Man joined the team, or when
D-Man is the man.
Oh, when fucking garbage Vixen ran the Justice League?
Sure, like I said, you always have a time where there's Justice League Detroit, or you get the Avengers where they're like, it's the main guys.
No, it was Justice League of America when Vixen ran the team. Anyway, so is this question asked with the predication that the Justice League also has to simultaneously exist?
No. So I have my main.
So there's only one team?
I have my big 5, right? And then my 2 side characters. I'm going to go with Rich Rider Nova. Going to bring him back, R.I.P.
And Justice?
Huh?
And Justice?
No.
Firestar.
And then you have to go classic. You have to go Firestorm.
You was almost there. You were really close.
Fire something.
Yeah. So those are that's my. You get a little cosmic. You get a little elemental. You get a little magic. You get tech. You get Superman, Batman. You get that combo. You get Iron Man is still there. Iron Man, Vision. It's a good flow. I think you get it's a very big power level. I mean, that's a huge power level. That's
in HeroClix, you're not even able to compete in Friday Night HeroClix.
You're like near Justice League power level with these characters, but I think it's a good team. I don't have those down to earth characters.
What about Aquaman?
Well, it's
Fuck Aquaman.
I mean, he could be
Outside of the movie, Aquaman's a chump.
Aquaman can
But
be
movie Aquaman
But
is
movie
the man.
Aquaman is the fucking man. He's so good. He's so good.
But this is like the Avengers that have to go fight in the Kree-Skrull War. Like, that's who this is. That's this Avenger.
See, this is why I don't hate DC, but this is why I hate DC is because the Kree-Skrull War, fucking spoiler alert, Flash or Batman or Superman, not and or, just or, solve that fucking shit. They solve it, and there's no 6-issue story arc. DC sells no comic books.
Can you imagine
DC goes out of business. Marvel
imagine
becomes the monopoly. Marvel rests on its laurels like Apple.
See,
Marvel shits the bed. Image takes over. Fucking Southern Bastards is the greatest connected universe in all of comics.
See, in my brain,
has happened?
In my brain, if like Warworld came to the Marvel universe, it'd be fucked. But they could fight off Warworld or like Mongols, like giant planet Death Star thing, but like they could fight off Eternals. Like there's no tomorrow. Like they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. We're just gonna fight off the big. What are they called? The big giant statue guys things. Celestials. Sorry, not Eternal. Celestials. Like Marvel's power level is ridiculously high too, but there's only a couple characters. DC is like a lot of people that can fight those big guys off.
Well, it's because it's so much
There
more
would never
accurate.
be a secret invasion in the DC universe.
Oh man. Anyway, dude, I don't know.
I would love a Skrull invasion of the DC universe. That'd be awesome.
Well, they could do the white aliens, right?
Yeah, the white Martians.
White Martians.
They had what was it called?
Invasion?
Not invasion. It was was it invasion? Yeah, invasion.
Dominator?
Was not the one where they had the like every book had one person that was actually
But that was connected.
like the robot.
That was connected with
Is that
what's
invasion? Anyway.
that was connected with what's his name.
And you have a team. You guys got a team. We're gonna move on. Next question.
Move to the next question.
What is going on in the Spider-Man Deadpool cover? It's like an upside-down Mystique with boobies, but a Spider-Man and a Deadpool, and then like Webley shit.
It's literally her name is like
Itsy
their
Bitsy.
name is like Spider-Pool or is it Itsy Bitsy,
Yeah,
right?
her
That's
name
what it
is
is.
Itsy Bitsy.
Yeah.
with like
Spider-Man
webbing in her
Deadpool
mouth.
#9.
That's a her.
Yeah.
Okay, so to actually answer your question, it does. I do need to ask, like, are we like leveling them against cosmic threats,
Whatever.
or is
Whatever.
it like my run of the mill? They can handle Earth threats anyway. Because
Whatever.
Earth threats, I'll take probably more than 50%. Marvel characters for my Avengers, even though Batman will definitely be on it. For fucking cosmic level threats on my Avengers, I don't think a single fucking Marvel character gets on there. Maybe Vision if he has the gem.
I mean, Thor and Vision could go on the
Thor,
Justice
no.
League.
Jane Foster, go get your cancer fixed, girl.
I meant Thor Odinson could be on the Avengers.
Not Thor Odin's daughter.
See, I'm more interested in how we would design the Avengers ID cards. Like, what would yours look like? What would yours look like?
I'm just too busy thinking, I think most DC characters would get wiped out if you did the Infinity Gauntlet.
They'd be the 50% that got wiped out.
No, but then Thanos would fucking reset that shit, and then they'd all be back to life anyway.
You mean Mongols?
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of that story arc and
or
stuff.
Darkseid?
Yeah.
Can I
It would be Darkseid, not Marvel.
Yeah.
Can I pull a Bendis on this? Like the Bendis Avengers.
It's going to be Jessica
disassembled?
Jones,
You mean
Luke
No,
Cage,
no. It's going to be
Spider-Woman,
Miles Morales.
It's going to be the
Iron Man.
It's going to be the
He's
Bat
so
family.
annoying.
It's going to be the Bat family without Batman and a bunch of kids.
He would do that. Or maybe that would be Mark Wade.
Next
my
question.
Avengers team is going to be the New Warriors. Okay, now we're done.
Yeah, mine's then Kenny X-Men.
Let's see. This is from Gerard. If Adam Fitch and Bryce Larsen had a podcast, what would it be about, and would it ever end? It would be about.
Oh!
It would never end. No, the Geekbox's Adam Fitch and Comic Conspiracy's Bryce Larsen would talk forever. And
Yeah, this is my LMD, actually, that's been talking this whole time. I'm still recording the other podcast with Adam Fitch about soccer and bad opinions on our other Bad Opinions podcast.
They would just talk in shifts. One would take a nap, and then the other one would wake up.
Yeah, that would actually work for both of us.
You know, I've been looking over Charlie's shoulder playing this He-Man game that he told me a long time ago. He downloaded it, and it's totally not the same He-Man game that I play on the phone.
Anyway, keep going.
It's not the same, Charlie. I have a different game on my phone.
Let's see. We got three real quick ones. Indicator. Good friend
Indicator.
Who's that guy?
If you had a guess, right now, rank Doctor Strange among the Marvel movies solely based on trailer. What number? Solely based on the trailer. Solely based on the trailer. Real quick.
Wait, how many? There's a lot of movies now.
13 so far. This is number 14, or is this 13?
What number would make you puke?
Number 1 is the best. Number 13 is the worst. Insert Doctor Strange. Brock, give me a number.
What number would make you puke?
I have no idea what that means.
Then I can't answer it.
Listen, Craigstopher, my number, having not seen the trailer, is 4.
Okay, this is the 4th best Marvel movie.
Yep.
Okay, Toby. Based on trailer alone.
I'm a Switzerland. I'm going to go 6. It's in the middle.
Okay.
I was actually going to say boring. 4 also.
Damn, really? I will say so. You go Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Guardians, and then Strange?
Wait, say those again?
I do not agree with your
Iron
list,
Man, and
but
Guardians,
that's okay.
Then Strange?
I'm actually going to have to revise mine to like 6. I like a lot of those movies more than you guys.
The way I look at it is this.
You like them all?
Guardians legitimately surprised me based on the trailers and everything else. I think Doctor Strange is going to do the same. I think it's going to be something where my expectations are not overly hyped for it, so I think I'm going to be more impressed with what I get.
You know that's not Sherlock, right? It's Doctor Strange.
He's like Jim Zub. He likes Benedict Cumberbatch so much.
Yes.
I'm hoping
wrong.
for 3, expecting 6.
You're hoping for 3?
I'm hoping
You're
for
knocking
3.
off Guardians?
I think it's going to go right above Ant-Man. I'm hoping for 3.
How high is Ant-Man in your list?
Fuck? How high is Ant-Man is 3?
What? Who's your number 1 and 2?
Winter Soldier, Guardians, Ant-Man, Avengers. That's
Avengers
top 4. That's top
is
4.
worse than Ant-Man?
I have decided that those are my top 3.
No.
I have a list at home.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure you have a list at home.
I have a list at home that I've been updating.
I'm sorry, I forgot that you like Suicide Squad.
The reason Ant-Man wins out is because of that one song that's playing when they're small and fighting in the helicopter.
So good. They play Disintegration by the character.
Woof, dude.
Ant-Man's amazing.
BVS, Suicide Squad lover over here. Ant-Man number 3.
I'm hoping this sneaks in at 3. But it could get. It could go below Iron Man and Avengers.
Ant-Man, or I'm sorry, Doctor Strange is number 3. I'm going to go commit suicide because your taste in movies is so bad that I will just be like, what have I done with my life? Why am I even here?
My number 1 is Winter Soldier. My number 2 is Guardians.
Well, I agree with you on one of those.
I'm just loving how the fact that you've already decided it can't be number 3 before seeing the movie.
Just can't, damn it. Based on the trailer alone that I haven't seen.
I haven't seen shit.
We're gonna come out of Bryce is gonna be like, I mean, it's like a 98%, but it's kind of a piece of shit. Yeah.
Critics come back from Rotten Tomatoes 99%, and it's like number 3, and fuck you, Higgins. I'm gonna go kill myself.
Did you buy that knocking point shirt? I didn't even realize you got it.
No, I got it from the goodie bag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Lester says, any Legion of Superhero recommendations for someone who hasn't read or is familiar with the series? Yes. Go search for Legion of Superheroes, then search for Jeff Johns, and then purchase all. That's all you need to do. For the modern Justice League, or for the modern Legion, that's all you need. Because it's the entirety of
and then tweet Jeff Johns saying that I need Saturn Girl Lego still.
I mean, it's the entirety of the modern League story with the original characters, and anything past that story arc, you don't need to read. If you want to go,
Wade's run was good.
Wade's run was fine, but it's not the classic characters.
Yeah.
If you want to go with the old school books,
and get the DVDs,
the Lego, the movies,
the fucking Legion cartoon.
They're not.
Season 1 had DVDs. Season 2 you can buy digitally.
Yeah, it's a bullshit, like 3 episodes on some cardboard DVD case crap that's out of print. I mean,
either way, you can buy them digitally.
Are they not? Are they all digital now, or just season 2?
They're all available digital.
Okay. I need to get those now.
No, fine. Don't buy DVDs and be an old fart like me. Buy digital.
No, I will
new guy and
absolutely.
young.
If they would release the DVDs.
Yeah, I'd absolutely buy the DVDs, but if they're all on digital now, then I'll pick those up because the Legion cartoon's amazing.
There you go. That's where I was getting at.
It's the best of kind of like we're going to take all the sort of different things and mix them. The Legion cartoon is
Also,
really good.
Season 1's available on Prime right now, and then you can buy Season 2
cool.
for anybody who wants to check it out.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Legion cartoon solid.
All right, last question.
And last one's from our good friend Travis down at Current Comics. He says, I'm excited to read Jessica Jones #1 this week, but the other Marvel Now titles, how do you think this week's will sell? Had a long conversation on Twitter about this today. That's probably why he's asking me. I'm very excited for Jessica Jones, obviously. More.
It has a nice cover.
More Bendis and Gatos, the artist name. I forgot to pronounce his last name. Hoping that's really good. Death of X, a lot of hype. Hope it's good. A lot of hype, obviously, for Marvel Ball Champions #1. Good creative team, Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I want these books to sell really, really well. And if you are a Marvel fan, I would suggest, I'll kind of summarize my Twitter conversation earlier today. I would really suggest going down to your local comic store this week and purchasing all of these new Marvel #1 books, because when it came to DC Rebirth, a lot of retailers were unsure of exactly how these books were going to sell, and based off the first 2 weeks of sales...
This is even with returnability.
Right, this is with full returnability. Based off the first 2 weeks of sales, Bryce has to take off a little early here, but Bryce, thank you for being on. We'll have you on very soon.
Yep,
Have you
thanks
on?
again. Soccer
Yeah.
practice.
It's all good. We're done in 2 minutes anyway, so close enough.
Real 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm just finishing this and then the outro.
Okay.
Based on the
I'll
first
sit in to heckle you.
Based on the first 2 weeks of sales for the DC Rebirth titles, retailers increased their orders exponentially over the course of the next few months because of the strong sales
So
those
what happens
first
when
few
you have
weeks.
good comics?
Marvel Now is a big question mark for a lot of retailers, a lot of incentive covers.
And their fans.
Not a lot of hype. I've not had a lot of people sign up for it, despite asking people if they want to. A lot of wait and see.
You had 2 subscribers for Champions.
Yeah. For a book like Champions that sold 400,000 copies, I have 2 subscribers that signed up for it. That is, I mean, I will sell a lot, I'm sure, but this is going to be a big question mark going forward because we have a lot of B and C list characters, and this first week especially is going to really base what every retailer looks at going forward. So buying Jessica Jones and Champions and Death of X will give me hope that Prowler and Slapstick
And Solo.
and the new Doctor Strange book will sell. A little bit of hope, but hope. If Death of X and Jessica Jones bomb and Champions bombs, then I know that no one is coming out of the woodworks for these titles, because if this is their best foot forward, because these are 3 of their biggest titles coming out the first week. If these books don't sell, I don't expect the rest to sell. So if you're a fan of these books, I highly recommend you go to your store this week, because starting on Monday, starting on Thursday, we can start adjusting our orders down or up for future orders for these books and other titles.
And even with all the variant covers for Champions, I mean, there's no buzz for them on eBay or anything.
I mean, people are buying them, but it's not.
But they're not selling it at
not ridiculously huge numbers. But people are picking them up. I'll be really curious. I have no clue. I don't have the. I mean, I'm willing to go on #1s, but past that, you gotta sell the book and have people sign up for it. And you gotta show me, show me the money, as I say. So if you wanna do this, show me that money. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up now. They are still clearing out all the Patreon stuff, so we will. I will probably actually extend the Patreon a week here because the 1st of November is actually a Tuesday, so yeah, at this point we're just going to go off the old Patreon because not everything is cleared yet. So let's thank our good friends on Patreon here. This is pretty much it, Bryce. We're just going to wrap up.
I love you guys.
Goodbye,
Later.
Bye.
We also love Albert Soy, our good friend, whose app on iTunes called Plant Everywhere. Make sure you check that out. Julian Titus has the Nerds Without Pants podcast
No pants!
at pixelbit.com. Ryan Hess has the Preach podcast at soundcloud.com/preachpodcast. Jerry Lawson has Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology, an anthology comic over at triadcomicstudio.com. Pick that up, please. Joshua Redding has a podcast called Tangent Break that's available all where you can get your podcasts, like iTunes and other places, like iTunes. And he had a couple novels, books without pictures. There's probably a picture on the front, but I don't think there's any pictures inside. Called Twilight of Ages and Dawn of Darkness. They're on Amazon. You should buy those. And leave them a good review on Amazon, too, if you like them.
Yay.
That always helps. John Nesmith has a Drinking with Batman podcast at drinkingwithbatman.libsyn.com. Have a drink with John and Batman. Manoa Place, Sam Shea, and Talon Bray, a few of our other backers. I don't know why I always say Talon, because it clearly says Talon. I can't read it right. Those are some other high-tier backers. I'd like to thank you guys very much. Thank you for donating all your money through patreon.com/comicconspiracy. That's how you can give us some sweet, sweet cash that we use to pick up some pizza occasionally for the podcast. Gets these guys some books to read and pays for our hosting and all that stuff. All those books we read and talk about on this podcast, a lot of them get picked up because of your Patreon money. Mm-hmm. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And I think, we can't do it next week because it's going to be post New York Comic Con. I posted the top. Okay, 2 weeks from we are going to do the Rebirth wrap up. We are going to do that the 18th, October 18th. That is official. Toby, 2 weeks. I'll give you your list.
Okay.
Give you your books to read. The rest of us should all be caught up. 2 weeks from today, October 18th, we'll be doing the last of our. It'll be an all Rebirth episode. We'll cover the last 2 months of the number ones and the specials. And we give a general overview of where we are right now with Rebirth. So look for that. Yeah, next week's going to be too crazy.
Charlie, I just looked for that He-Man game on my app, and I found yours, but I think mine is gone. The one I have is no longer on the App Store. It's He-Man. A mystery. My old He-Man game is gone. I hope it's still on my phone. Now I can't get rid of my phone. I have to keep my phone forever and ever.
ComicConspiracyPodcast.com is where you can find this podcast, as well as Geekbox.net and on iTunes. Go check all those places out for the most.
Shit, it's not on my phone anymore.
They hacked you.
Oh, what the fuck?
Rate and review us on iTunes, please. Thank you very much for all those 5-star reviews only. Thank you. The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net or the contact form. That's how you can send us some long-form contacts if you want to. Of course, we always do Twitter questions before the podcast. Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. Once again, that's how you can donate some money to this podcast. Thank you for everyone that does that. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That is our digital retail store. Make sure you pick up lots of great stuff. There are a ton of stuff on sale all the time. They just had a huge 60% off Vertigo sale, which is over at this point, but always check back at that because they have so many great sales on there. Yeah. And we get a nice cut every time you make a purchase on that site. ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's video pull list and blog where you can see what he's up to other than doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, that's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast, and my lovely wife Leanne, she has a shop on Etsy, etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. You can go on there and pick up some art. She's a bit under the weather right now. She took this week off work, so if you purchase something from her on there, commission-wise, she will probably not work on it for the next couple days because she is sick. However, she will start that very soon. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Larson, Bryce, Toby XI, Insanity and Chaos, Comics Con Store. That's all of us on Twitter. Add those accounts, please. Thank you. And, after the election, I'll talk a lot less about politics, probably. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, All Talk, Podcast, Manga Machinations. Those are all the various podcasts on our little network here, so make sure you listen to those. Brock is mouthing something at me.
Our sale is this weekend,
so
if you're
yes.
local.
And if you are local, you should please stop by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 115-A, East Fremont Avenue, Sunnyvale, California, 94087. Our annual October sale, we are having 25% off current comics. Dollar back issues for anything under $10.
Tons of sets.
It'll be half off. 50% comics outside. We'll have boxes. You can stack up those boxes and get a better deal. 25% off graphic novels, toys. Big, not end of year blowout, but is our big October sale. We have this every year. Always a huge turnout. So make sure you come down and pick up some good stuff because I always...
A lot of those Rebirth titles that you were talking about that are going to be sent.
Yes. So all of the July shipping Rebirth titles, which would be issues 2 and 3 of all the first months, Rebirth and 1 of the second months, those books are all being returned. Not all of our copies, but the books are now returnable to DC. So this is kind of our last chance. If you want to get those books and at 25% off, we're going to have them. They're all here. And on Monday after the sale, we will be doing our returns, so we will not have nearly as many copies on the shelf of those issues. So not only should you buy them this weekend because they'll be 25% off, they could possibly be gone in a week or two because I'm still selling a good amount of Rebirth issues on a regular basis. And who knows, when these books start disappearing from shelves because of returns, people may start grabbing them. So you should get them this weekend, and they're 25% off. What a deal. Can't beat that. All right, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.